have homes on separate coasts, go dive in Greece with squids. Could have been so bleeping rich, but instead we had kids. They won't smile for a photo, they won't eat the food we choose. That's why we're heading to the Parents' Lounge to drown ourselves in booze. Every day we're more exhausted, we haven't slept in years. They hit me in the nuts so bad, my eyes filled up with tears. And yes, we'd like to fake our death and go off of the grids, but the truth is we are softies and we truly love our kids. So join us every Tuesday night to laugh at all our pain. Evening in the Parents' Lounge is the cure to staying sane. Welcome to another edition of the Parents' Lounge, and already Jobo got me right out of the chute.
Right out of the gate.
What's up, legends? How we doing tonight, Lounge Lizards? I don't think we've ever used that.
I've seen them posted before, but we've got it. We need to adopt it.
Dude, that's the shirt. Hey, Jobo, this is awesome. Yeah, we have such a fun show for you tonight, and welcome. We have the Parents' Lounge. I'm Jamie Kaler, joined as always by Jason Gowin. Whether you're watching this on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, anywhere, be sure to follow us, like us, subscribe. And if you want, you're more than welcome to share the show out, because this is all about Parental Mental Health Tuesday. It's funny because my daughter's screaming downstairs. I'm making her do some IXL thing.
I thought you were being haunted, to be quite honest.
It was like moaning. She's doing IXLs, for those of you who know what that is, where she's on, and it's reading comprehension. So she has to read passages and then like come up with what the main theme is. And even I was like, but I can't. I'm like, yeah, this is good. But I read it and I was like, I didn't know the answer. So it's like screaming. But then I saw the photo stuff at the top and I was like, oh, that's right. I love my kids. I forgot about that part.
So how you been?
You just blanked it. I always love, when there's only two of us here, when I stop talking, typically.
I have to. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's what
I've had a week. You just get off my shit.
I don't know how much you want to share about your week.
Not yet.
Just know, everyone out there, Jobo and Brandon and all of our regulars, Michelle, just know your week went better than Jason's week.
Oh, color me shocked.
Color me shocked. But we have a very special guest that is going to make Jason go back to some really fond memories in his life. Jason, let's get this beast started because I'm so excited for our guest tonight. You want to take it?
Absolutely. I am super pumped because our guest tonight is the daughter of a legend and a legend in her own right. Super talented performers, brilliant comedic writers, just talent oozes down the family tree. And they touched my life in so many ways, and we'll get to talk about it tonight. But ladies and gentlemen, Mallory Lewis is here.
Yay!
Yay! Mallory Lewis of Mallory Lewis and Lamb-Chop fame, we should say.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Lamb-Chop. I don't know why I can't find the center on the there we are.
Yeah, that's right.
Jamie, you've got redheads.
I got gingers. Yeah, my wife's a ginger. I'm a ginger. We have a puggle that's a ginger.
Wow. My
yeah,
mom's a ginger. I'm a fake ginger. So, there's a lot in common.
I'm a real ginger, but now people go, hey, like I'll hold the kids and they'll go like, where do they get their hair color? And I go, I'm a redhead. I'm salt and ketchup. That's what I say now. I'm salt and ketchup.
When my son was born, the doctor, obviously caught him and said, oh, look, he's got red hair just like your mom. And my ex-husband and I looked at each other like, well, no, but okay.
Maybe the dye seeped through your body.
Every 3 weeks I have to go and get the roots touched up because for some bizarre reason it grows out of my head brown and white. And I'm like, I have been dyeing you for 25 years. How do you not know what color I want you to come out as? But I must have stupid follicles.
So how many kids do you have, Mallory? Do you have just the one,
I
right?
have one perfect son.
Right.
He is 24 years old. He got just a couple of years ago graduated with his master's from Georgetown School of Foreign Service with a master's in, wait for it, international science and technology with a concentration in space commerce and energy security.
I mean, how the two of you don't have a show already on,
right?
Yeah, it should be a Nova episode.
He graduated in 5 years, overlapping his master's and undergrad, and was working full-time for the last 2.5, 3 years of it. He is my absolute heart. He's so nice. He has never given me a moment's trouble. And then a couple of months ago, he told me, Mom, I think I might want to be a ski instructor. I said, okay, we'll talk later on this.
Well, he pulled a Jamie Kaler.
Do it for, listen, ski instructor's like a year or two, and then he gets back into the workforce.
But, I know that you told me earlier you were a lieutenant down in San Diego. Well, Jamie and I used to go to Miramar all the time because that was like, I did a lot of USO touring all over the world, Vogel, Hogel, Haven, I don't know, the German bases, Okinawa, a lot in the States, but Miramar is just 2.5 hours from my house. And so we used to go all the time. And Jamie was 12 years old. We went down there, and the 3-star who ran the base, Tom Conant, arranged for Jamie to have some flight simulator time. So I'm standing, Jamie's in the flight simulator, landing on Carol.
By the way, really quickly, as she was speaking, I was like, wait, I was 12 years old? Your son is Jamie.
My son is Jamie.
Yeah. It took me a second, but I was like, wait a minute. What is she talking about?
No. So
I for once actually followed.
And I'm standing outside of the actual simulator in the control room or whatever with, I don't know, a dozen hot young lieutenants. And they're watching Jamie's stuff on the big screen. And they're like, he's pretty good. Who is that? I go, it's my son. And they go, oh, is he, a pilot? I go, no, he's a 12-year-old. They're like, well, how did he learn how to do that? I go, we have a flight simulator at home and you're old. So then they came out and they were like, okay, Miss Lewis, now it's, your son's had his half hour. Would you like a half an hour? And I'm standing there with, he's all these beautiful young men in flight suits. I'm like, no, I'm good. You can let the kid keep the second half hour.
So funny. Hey, I need to address one thing. So Joey Steelers is Kate no longer on the show? So we have a mom host because we're two idiot dads, and we know that people go, you're two idiot dads, you don't know anything. So our co-host Kate Mulligan has been insanely busy. Her husband, he's a showrunner for a Nickelodeon show called Aaron and Aaron that just premiered in April, and he's been like off, and she has kids, and she's been losing her mind. So these Tuesdays, so Joey,
there's a writer's strike. The showrunner is not working anymore.
That's the problem. He's out striking. He's out on the picket line.
They're on the picket line now.
He's on the picket line. So it was even worse. So she was supposed to come in, and she's missed a couple shows because of family commitments and stuff. But tonight she may jump in. We sent her the link and begged her to come in because she's such a huge fan.
But no, she's not done.
Mallory, no, she is not. She's the most integral part of the whole show. The two of us are the idiots that we could easily do without.
That is
here's what I always love. And we've had parents on here before who have super successful children. And they always, no one ever talks about the fact that what did you do to make your child so successful? That's really what we all strive for is what you have.
I have a lot of opinions about what I did. First of all, I was born with a very easy child. I think kids come out with their personalities. He came out in 4 pushes like this and said, sorry, Mom, how can I be of assistance? So, I mean, he has always been an easy child. Whoopsie. Alcohol abuse happening in the background.
What's Hush Puppy on a bender?
Yes. But also, I really, I believe in expectations and boundaries. And Jamie's traveled with me since he was, born, but he knew that we were representing Grandma Sherry when we were on the road. He knew when he was 5, I said to him, Your job is to get straight A's and be a pleasure to live with, and I will handle everything else. Now, flash forward, he's now 15, and he comes into my room and says, Mom, am I straight A student? I said, yeah. He goes, am I a pleasure to live with? And I said, yeah. He said, you're going to handle everything else. And I said, yeah. He goes, can you go get some food? Because there's nothing to eat in the refrigerator. So when he was 8 years old, we were on the road. And I was four-walling a show, which means that I basically brought everything in and kept the house, kept all the money. So the sound guy calls me and goes, my car has just run into a snowbank. I am not going to be able to make the show. And I look at Jamie and I say, Jamie, what the F is Mom going to do? And he goes, oh, don't worry, Mom. I can set up your sound equipment. I said, Jamie, you're 8. He said, yeah, I've watched Dad. How hard can it be? So from that moment on, there's nobody I trust with my show more than Jamie. Even now, he will fly to my shows. And cue my shows for me. I mean, because I can handle my sound equipment if nothing goes wrong.
Right.
But when does a complicated computer program that can run a stadium's worth of lights?
Yeah.
By the way, I'm not in a stadium and I don't need that. Not go wrong. So I'm very lucky but I was very clear on boundaries and expectations. And
I think that's important.
I always talked to him.
You talked to him like he was an adult.
Yes, because
I do too. I do the exact same thing. I try to talk to them like they're adults, and sometimes I have to remind myself they're not, because I'll go like, "Dude, just pull your blank together. What are you doing? Focus. Just get this done." And she's like,
one time Jamie was twee. He was 2 years old, and we had flown to actually the USO base or the in Hawaii, and so we'd flown and we went straight to a sound check, and and we're leaving, and he goes, Mommy, can you carry me? And I said, Jamie, I am so tired. He goes, so am I, Mommy, and I'm only twee. I went, okay, point. Mommy will carry you. So, but yeah, I think that a large part of it is the child that you are given.
Yeah, it's nature versus nurture. I believe.
I think it's a balance. I think it's definitely a balance. If you've got a child with a high agitation level, you're just and find the right school for your child. Find the right school for your child. That's the important part. I had a friend who had 3 kids. She sent them to 3 different schools because one was academic, one was sporty, and one was arty.
That's funny.
So,
Jobo, we have great comments. It's so much fun. That's why it's so much fun to do this live. Jobo goes, no, I don't talk to my kids like he's an adult. I use far less curses. So that's my thing lately. I've been like, I used to maybe fly off the handle a little more and swear. And I've really been like, even tonight, I probably would have lost my mind earlier. And tonight I was like, hey, it's going to be okay. I'm trying to not have outbursts.
And I'm gonna give credit where credit's due. That's the most tactful I've ever seen you handle those kinds of situations.
I put my fist through walls. Like during the pandemic, I homeschooled.
So many lamps lost their life.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
It was pretty.
My ex and I were once having a massive fight, and it wasn't like it wasn't like an I hate you fight. It was about a business situation but it was a massive fight. My kid was there, and he was about 5 years old, and we were just, and at the end of it, I go, Jamie, are you okay? And this was in the era of the dollar a swear. He goes, yes, Mommy, you owe me $42. Daddy owes me $7.
I love this kid. We might have to have him on.
He's just so funny. He's
Mallory, I loved you. You mentioned Grandma Sherry, and of course, it's Sherry Lewis. For those of you who some kids might be too young and not know, but icon, comedy, legend, icon. We all grew up at my age range and knew Sherry Lewis and Lamb-Chop. And a lot of times when you're the child of such an iconic figure, it doesn't go great. It goes south. You know, there's a handful. Michael Douglas, there's a few. You know, Charlie Sheen had it, went awry. Like, it's tough to follow. George Bush followed his father into the business. But you, I mean, it's really a tough thing. It just shows maybe how great your mom was raising you. And I wonder how she did it with you to kind of make you more of a normal person in that crazy business.
Oh, you're making an assumption that I'm normal.
Well, listen, none of us in this business is normal, but I just watched the Aaron Carter documentary about
my kid into show. My kid wants to be, should my kid be an actor? And I'm like, does your kid have a giant hole in their soul that can only be filled with the adulation of complete strangers? Because if they don't have that, no. I mean, someone asked me the other day, what advice would you give my daughter if she wants to be a ventriloquist? I said, go to college.
That's me. They go, how do I become a comic? I go, you don't. Trust me. It's the last thing.
And also, either you're funny or you're not.
I agree with that too.
Yeah, it's not a teachable thing.
You can hone it. You can learn the craft, but you either have timing or you
don't.
Do not. Exactly. Not.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's like, I mean, when I do my performing arts center shows, which is basically what I do, is tour performing arts centers, and I do a show where half of it is me and Lamb-Chop singing, and I won't say dancing, but moving with style, kind of like Buzz Lightyear, and doing comedy, and the other half is me curating stories about mom and then showing curated videos of mom. And I love to sing. I am not Barbara Streisand, but I'm a really good entertainer. So people
I can already see that. I can already see that.
People have a great time at my shows, and certainly no one goes, oh, that note was off. But you know, it's I like to say that I'm one of the best singers in the world who doesn't move her lips.
That's probably true.
Arguably the best. Well, here's what's great about Lamb-Chop too, is that here's how great your mom was. Other people had like full body puppets. And she literally was like, no, it's a sock and it's a lamb. And then it was all her. Just destroyed it. Yeah. To go that simple of an idea where you don't really, it doesn't need to be this crazy character.
Lamb-Chop's strength is her character is so pure.
Yeah.
She is I mean, when we wrote for Lamb-Chop was a 6-year-old girl. Hush Puppy is an 8-year-old middle child. Charlie Horse is the 11, 12-year-old older brother. Their characters are as clearly defined as any character in MASH or Friends or any of the great shows. So I always love it when people say, oh, you know, we'll do a PSA and I'll write it for you. And I'm like, why don't you just give me the bullet points?
Yeah.
Because Lamb-Chop she talks the way Lamb-Chop talks. Like, not, you know, she's a 6-year-old. And
but a very omniscient, all-knowing, wise. You know, it's the same with
she's an old soul.
South Park is very similar. Those guys said, look, if we make these guys 3rd graders, we can say whatever we want.
Yes.
Because they're kids and they have the honesty and the naivete, but also the smart intelligence of this child. And so
we just wrapped post-production on Mom's documentary.
Mm-hmm. I'm so excited.
And I'm so excited. Like, we literally wrapped Friday, I think. And one of the interesting things is watching the old clips of Lamb-Chop. Like, there's one where she says she's going to run for president of the United States. And Charlie Horse says, oh, you can't do that. You're a girl. Now, this is the 50s. Yeah. Although, don't get me started. And then Lamb-Chop says, you know, we need a woman president. We've had, I don't know, 40 presidents, whatever it was at the time. All of them men, and not one of them can get it right. So Mom used Lamb-Chop to say things that she couldn't say. And, you know, mom, when I watched the old footage of my mom, she was bolder as she got older, as I think we all get because we have no F's left to give. But you know what F dust is? It's when you have no F's left to give and all that's left is dust. But she was very, you know, she talked in a higher voice than she actually had. And because in the 50s, you had to be sweet. And she was one of the first women who had their own production company. I mean, it was her and Lucille Ball.
Yeah.
I'm bummed that there's not a Sherry Lou Studios, but whatever. But yeah.
What were the I don't know the origins of it, and I don't want to take too much away from the documentary coming because I'm so excited. I love these.
Learn all the origins
of these characters, but I'm so intrigued by because all we know is like all of a sudden she's on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Well, my grandpa was Peter Pan, the Magic Man, the official magician for the city of New York under Mayor LaGuardia. So mom grew up in a vaudeville house.
There it is.
And
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, and my grandmother was the music coordinator for the Bronx schools. And the women in my family, my grandmother on my dad's side was one of the founders of Legal Aid. So no pressure, really.
Wow.
And this was a woman who came from Lithuania when she was 3. And her first words were, "You dirty rat," from a little boy who took her hat through it. But, you know, that's. But on my mom's side, it was all musicians. And my grandpa was also a professor at the yeshiva. And he specialized in using magic to teach the bad boys how to focus their intelligence, as opposed to doing whatever bad boys did in the 40s, stealing a piece of penny candy.
It's always, by the way, it's always great to teach thieves magic.
Yes.
Sleight of hand is always something you want thieves to know.
I know. I told my husband just on everything that I was taught by my grandpa. That's such a good point, man. Thought of it.
Yeah, teach him the big con. Teach him how to grift properly if he's going to do it, so he can do a little sleight of hand.
And get some good patter while you're doing it, because it's all about the patter. So,
but it's so intriguing. He was magic, and your mom said she was obviously a kid in the vaudeville act, and at some point, it must have been something maybe she did backstage where she put a sock on her hand and took off.
No.
So
my grandpa never used my mom as his assistant. He taught her own act, and because he wanted her to be a star, he didn't want her to be his assistant. And
why ventriloquist?
Well, because she also took dance and juggling and fire twirling and, you know, you name it. Right. in the vaudevilles. Guy whose name I'm not remembering, which is unfortunate, a famous black ventriloquist who, and you know, some of this stuff is lost in the annals of time. Did Jackie Cooper, maybe? So who taught my mom ventriloquism, and that was just the one that stuck. It's not what mom wanted to be. She wanted to be a Broadway star. She wanted to be, she danced with ABT. She wanted to be a prima ballerina, which doesn't happen when you're 5 foot tall. It was just, that was the one that she wanted to be a star. Yeah. She wanted to be a star.
Yeah, she did. She figured a way. She figured the path.
She hit the mark.
It's interesting. She's been dead 25 years, and I still answer 3 to 4 literal fan mails to my mom a week. And I know that I have 50,000 plus followers on TikTok. Nobody cares about me. If Lamb-Chop has 50,000 followers on TikTok, and I'm fine with that. People are like, "Oh, were you jealous of the puppet when you were a child?" I'm like, no.
But see, like I've heard Candace Bergen give interviews where she hated Charlie McCarthy.
Her dad didn't put Charlie McCarthy in her crib the day she was born. Like, her dad had a special room for Charlie McCarthy. Her dad was obviously not as good a dad as my mom was a mom.
You know, there's incredible rumors that Charlie McCarthy is her dad. And there was a whole love tryst thing with Candice Bergen's mom and the puppet. Like, he would come back from the road and be like, "Where's the puppet?" And then you know what was happening.
Yeah.
So the two of them had a very contentious relationship, I believe.
They should do DNA. Can you do that with wood?
I do. I think what you do is you count the rings. So
and
it's
you
something.
count the family tree.
Yeah. When Candice Bergen dies, they're going to cut her leg and then cut the ring, count the rings, and see if Charlie McCarthy's them.
I mean, you just need a little sandpaper to get a sample. So
that's right. It's such a terrible.
So I did the most horrible podcast the other day. I won't even get into it, but let's just say if you're doing a podcast, you probably should make your bed before you know.
Before you show it in the back.
Yeah, and so tonight my husband was like, "Why are you doing this?" I go, "No, these are grown-ups." and I love Jason, so but
he
now
loves you, and we were so excited to have it. It's honestly, it's so cool. It says Mallory and Lamb-Chop. Is Lamb-Chop there?
Well, I don't know how to tell you this. She's been drinking, so
I had wondered because I heard the glass fall earlier.
Yeah, that was her. No, it wasn't me. They're lying. That's not true. Hello, Jason. Hello, Jamie.
Hi, Lamb-Chop. How are you, sweetheart?
Jamie, I really got a thing for boys in uniform.
I know. Wow.
Can you still fit into your lieutenant costume?
I can actually, yeah. And I have a thing for girls with very soft fur.
He's got a fleece fetish.
I got a fleece fetish. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Jamie, you should salute me because I'm a 3-star general.
I heard that. I did not, and yes, I will of course salute you. Tell me how that came about. So Lamb-Chop is
we were at Miramar, and after the show, Lamb-Chop was in her little military outfit, and after the show, Major General Tom Conant took the stars off of his uniform and pinned them on hers. So that's a field promotion.
Wow, that's impressive. Are you? You might be the highest ranking lamb in the military of any kind.
Oh,
right?
no doubt. Take that, Kermit.
So Lamb-Chop, you like to cut loose a little with the ladies and have a nice Chardonnay or something, right?
Oh, sure.
What's your drink of choice?
Mint jelly.
Oh, that's a good one. That's always one of my favorites as well. I like mint jelly very much.
With tequila.
Yes, no, of course. I was inferred. I knew. We all knew there was tequila involved in whatever.
I'm making my husband laugh. Do you know how hard it is to make someone laugh who lives with you?
My wife doesn't even know I do comedy. She has no idea what I do for a living.
My wife has actively asked me to stop.
Right. Where is your wife?
She is just off camera a little bit.
My wife's across the street drinking with the neighbors while the kids are downstairs. She's like, I go, I'm doing a show. She's like, the kids will be fine. And she went across the street.
They'll be fine. Bye-bye.
She's having a drink. Well, Lamb-Chop, this is so exciting. I know everyone is very, very excited. Aside from your show, we were talking earlier about kids shows because our kids today are watching totally different shows than we are. And I know you're such a connoisseur of TV shows and obviously encyclopedic knowledge.
Ted Lasso, and I like Succession, and I like a TV show called Ghosts. I like the British version and the American version, and I like Below Decks.
So you like Succession, do you?
Oh yeah. Oh.
I love that.
Roman is my heart.
I've heard the writers are threatened to spoil the ending if they don't give them what they want.
Well, did you guys want? Are you guys Succession fans?
Very much so. Yes, I'm up to speed.
Oh my God! When Daddy died, and I thought, well, it's been on air.
Listen, everyone, you got 3 weeks. Everybody, I don't know if everyone knows what's happened in Succession. But
yeah, come on. But I love the way, he was always in the forefront of any shot that he was in. And then when he died, you never saw.
I agree.
It's friggin' brilliant.
It was about the family, I thought. And it's funny because I thought it played very naturally how life is, where it's not hands-on. It's very, what just happened? I'm hearing news and it was kind of that way through. Hey, did you hear a telephone call of like something just happened? I loved it. I thought it was very accurate.
But I'm a big Below Decks fan.
What is Below Decks?
Oh my God. There's so many. You are so lucky. There's like 4 different versions, 87 million seasons. It's all about behind the scenes in the yachting world. So you get gorgeous young people behaving badly and drunk rich people behaving badly, and these great captains. And it's trash.
So it's like a real life version of Succession.
Yes, basically. So yeah, no, but it's just so much fun. There's Captain Sandy, and who's the other captain that I like, honey? Yeah, you do. He says he doesn't, but he does.
So it's deadliest catch, but it's really deadliest catch of an STD. Kind of.
That's hysterical. Now go ahead and explain to a 6-year-old lamb what an STD is.
STD is it's a simple transactional digression. And what happens is you would spend time with somebody who's not your main friend. Say you went to camp and you went canoeing with a friend at camp. And then by the time you got back home to your school and one of your friends was like, hey, do you have a new best friend? And you're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Those photos aren't me. Those have been photoshopped.
And also your camp friend's canoe is, well, I'm sorry, Lamb-Chop, go ahead.
I said that was AI.
That's AI. It's all AI. It's all Chat GPT at this point.
Also, your friend from camp's canoe is typically dirtier than your friend from home.
So you got your sneakers got dirty in the canoe, and then you came back, and the dirt from your sneakers got on your other friend's sneakers, and then they said, "Hey, you got my sneakers dirty," and you said, "I need to make some phone calls."
So when your daughters are a little older, can you please tape the conversation that you have with them and send it to me?
Oh, Jamie had the school do it.
Well, you know what? Let me ask Mallory, because and Lamb-Chop's here. This Jamie obviously grew up. Was there ever a Facts of Life, and not the TV show? Was there?
No, because it was always. I mean, I think that life just needs to be a constant conversation. I mean, when I never sort of, I mean, obviously I didn't give him the specifics at 3, but I never dumbed it down, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is now my kids have the internet. And so I was
so did mine.
So I was at an assembly for my kid. She's in 4th grade. And one of the other parents was like, have you had the talk about certain videos and hubs? There are hubs on the internet where there are certain things. I'm trying to speak very carefully in front of Lamb-Chop to get this across. And they said you need to have the discussion about maybe certain videos that are available on the internet with your 4th grader, because in 5th grade, they're going to see it. And you won't be able to stop it. Some kid's going to show up with a phone and show it to them.
I never believed in blocking, putting the child guards on the computer, because quite honestly, we actually tried, and then you couldn't Google trees because they looked like, so it was just like, how about we just talk to our kid and we just say things like, look, there's a lot of stuff out there that we don't feel that you're old enough to interpret properly right now. We obviously cannot stop you. I mean, my kid was on the computer at 6 months old, playing baby games. He beat me at a video game when he was 2. That was the last time I played a video game. So it's not like your 8-year-old is definitely more technologically savvy than you are.
So without question, there's no question about that.
It's better to frame things and say, there's some stuff on there that is not appropriate for you because you don't have a frame of context for it. I mean, it is a tough thing, but I believe that kids, when I do my show, I do a lot of double entendre. Now, if you are old enough to understand the double entendre, you are old enough to hear it. But I think that kids, growing up in Southern California, I'm a little politically to the left of AOC. So I was taking Jamie in the car we were going to visit Uncle Chris and Uncle Stormy. Jamie was twee. And he His little legs were sticking straight out, on the car seat. So cute. And he goes, Mommy, are Uncle Chris and Uncle Stormy bought us? Okay, this was a teachable moment. So I go, no, Jamie. Most mommies marry daddies and most daddies marry mommies, but some mommies decide they want to marry other mommies and some daddies decide they want to marry other daddies. So Uncle Chris and Uncle Stormy are two daddies, because little kids refer to all men as daddies. Right. Two daddies who decided to get married. And Jamie goes, oh, I just wondered because they have different color hair. It's like
it's simple honesty of children.
It's so over explanation, but I really believe that if you just normalize everything, because everything
is normal, and people, where's my camera? God damn it! People should just be nice to each other and not toss each other around. And I'll stay out of your genitals. You stay out of mine.
Well, and what do you care what other people do, right? Here's what I love about like my childhood was definitely more innocent. And I kind of, everyone goes, okay, boomer, it was better back then. I do think it was better, but I think it was better because it was easier and it was simpler. It was like simpler times. And that's kind of, and everyone who's watching this is definitely having that moment watching Lamb-Chop where we all kind of, it brings you back to your childhood.
But I don't really think it was better or simpler. I just think it was hidden.
I do think that's true. I do think it was hidden.
You're right.
All the same problems, and instead of it, people are now struggling to be allowed to express their own sexuality. Well, before they had to hide it because it was illegal.
No, it's crazy.
I was out to dinner with a friend of mine the other day, and with her and her wife, and she was like, and she's a little older than I am. She's in her 70s, and she was like, when I was in my 20s, it was illegal to be a lesbian. So I don't think it was simpler or easier. I just think it was more hidden, and that made it harder and worse. So I think what we're going through now are the growing pains of acknowledging reality.
I like that. I agree with you very much. So I agree. I do think that we're the test version for this, the new technology that's coming, and it will finally work its bugs out. But it is, it's hard to have an 8-year-old and a 9-year-old now because they have access to. And yes, some of that access is very positive and will help certain people find where they belong in society and where their brethren are. But I do also think that there is, negative aspects that, there's nothing you can do.
It's hard to have an 8-year-old and a 9-year-old.
So you know what? No truer words have been said, Mallory.
But not as hard as it is to have 4-year-old twins. And how old's your big boy, Jason?
He's 7. And they all 3 have a penchant for destruction.
Yes, I did notice that reviewing your videos. I think the best way to deal with kids these days is to be 100% honest. Because if you're not, they will find out. And they will not trust you.
Oh, and I have a Jay story to tell you about the newest thing that he did. His little friend from school invited him to go to it was like a vacation Bible school thing. It was like a fun thing. So I was like, sure, go ahead, go. And they were going to have a show and tell. And we never checked the child's bag before he left.
Please tell me he didn't pull out a sex toy. He pulled out a sex toy.
We received a phone call from the church.
I love your son so much.
And the lady, the pastor says to me, "Hi, Mr. Gowin. I know you don't go to this church or you don't really know me, but we do need to talk that maybe your son might want to come back here a few more times because he brought and my mind, like, I think that he's maybe brought like some sort of weapon and
a lightsaber
in a way. And the pastor's exact words were, he, I believe, brought your wife's silicone friend from college with him today.
As long as he didn't know how to use it.
No, he thought it was a lightsaber, and
that's what we call my husband's. Honey, can I see your lightsaber?
That's
right,
Jason. That's
yep. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I think the only way to handle everything with kids these days is to just really that's the way I did it. Just to discuss things honestly. And you can even say, listen, in our family, we don't think there is anything wrong with XYZ. However, there are a bunch of bigoted monkey butts out.
Oh, you can swear. Go ahead.
So there, and I make the choice to personally say what I feel. Somebody said to me once, you're affecting you're costing yourself an audience by speaking out against Donald Trump. And I said, fuck Trump. And fuck people who like him. I don't care. Like, I don't want to have anything to do with somebody who is a bigoted, narcissistic, misogynistic, racist. And if you are a supporter of Trump, that's what you are. You can't be like, oh, I'm not anti-Semitic. I just think Hitler's a great guy. That's not the way that works. So, but that's a choice that I've made to say that I believe if I have a platform, my goal is to speak out again. I'm certainly not pandering to
How does Lamb-Chop feel about this?
I think Donald Trump is a son of the bitch. Fuck him.
I don't think Lamb-Chop's a
I wasn't expecting that.
I loved it.
I don't know why you weren't. You've met me, Jason.
No, I just wasn't expecting the F-bomb from Lamb-Chop, but I'm impressed.
Lamb-Chop.
The viewpoint I get.
Hey, also, Lamb-Chop's been 6 years old for about
I've been 6 years old since 1957, and there's one thing that I know, it's that you're supposed to be nice to people and let people be who they are and not lie and cheat and steal and rape people and give money to porn. Well, I don't mind giving money to porn stars if it's consensual, but but you're supposed to be a good human being and you're supposed to try hard to make other people's lives better, not worse.
I agree. But I do, everyone listen, Jobo, everybody likes a little sauce on their lamb chops. So I am all for a saucy lamb chop. I think that's fantastic.
I'm impressed because, Lamb-Chop has stood the test of time. I mean, she really has stood the test of time. And no matter when she, kind of resurfaces into the spotlight, people just gravitate to her. Why do you think that is? Why do you think she's so universal?
Because she's honest and she's kind
and adorable.
Also that.
And because it is a very tough world right now. I mean, I think it's probably less tough than it's ever been, but it's tougher because we know more about the bad things that are happening. Things were pretty horrific during World War II. It's just, we got it in newsreels once a week at the movie theater, not bombarding our phones 17 times a day. So, or 17 times a minute, that's one good bowel movement. So it's, it's making you laugh, Jamie.
We got some serious snipers in this audience. Like we have people who watch the show all the time. We've let them in before to come play. They are killers with jokes. Jobo's like just typing. He's written a whole monologue of jokes over the whole show. He does it every show.
So I think that I don't know. I just think everyone should just stay in their own damn lane. Just be happy. Just be happy. You do you. You don't. What is the eyeballs, Jamie?
No, my kid. I think my kids are creeping up the stairs at me.
Oh,
Remember I
No more F-bombs. I thought you were hearing.
Oh, they've heard me drop so many bombs.
I made that assumption.
It's also a real testament to Lamb-Chop is that,
watch your language. I think the language that needs to be watched is racist language, is bigoted language, is misogynistic language. I think
those is cool because they. It was all about empathy towards others, and I really liked their thought process on the whole thing. And it's a very there's tons of different kids in the school, and it's obviously there are bullying incidents because they're kids and they're trying to grow out of it, but they are. At the end of the day, the school and the parents are very empathetic towards each other, and everyone's polite. Look, we've said this so many times on the show. We're all just trying to take care of our families and get through this thing one day at a time. And anytime anybody else impedes it with their garbage of like trying to put their thought process onto other people, where I was like, dudes, you do you. We always say, you do you.
You know what? If you want to have an imaginary friend that you think can solve all your problems, you go for it. Yeah. Your imaginary friend does not get to tell me how I live my atheistic life.
You can do whatever you want as long as what you do doesn't affect other people. And it's getting really hard though, because you're so right about like the news stories, stuff out of Texas where the neighbor's doing something and then that goes ballistic, and like that wouldn't be such big national news, but everything now is like pounding, and then 12 hours later we move on to the next one. So it's just this.
How many shootings have there been?
Oh my gosh, so many.
95% of all shooters are male. So far in recorded history, there has been one person out of all the school shooters who identified as trans, and that's what the Republicans are jumping all over. Okay, so they're saying hormones are more of a problem than assault rifles? Because nobody ever killed anybody with like, I'm going to rub my hormones all over you.
Who knew Lamb-Chop was going to be our most political episode of all time? I'm loving it.
I'm super political.
We don't normally do politics, but I got to tell you,
nobody
has the beauty of Lamb-Chop. Lamb-Chop can tell you anything, and you go, you know what, Lamb-Chop, you're right.
To believe what I believe, that they have to keep their beliefs in their family and not make it my problem.
I mean, the fact of the matter is she trans species?
I don't know where anthropomorphic falls on that scale.
I don't know, but I know the Republicans won't like me.
No, they won't. They won't like you. They'd eat you.
Mallory eats me. Lamb has been feeding my family for years.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, and Lamb-Chop, for you, there are a lot of kids who grow up in Hollywood in much the way you did, who went down the wrong path. You could right now start an OnlyFans, and
I will say that if during the pandemic I had been a decade younger, I might have thought about it.
Actually, I believe it would be called Only Lambs.
Oh, yeah.
You got to get that website, Only Lambs. You blow up.
So somebody was asking me, I don't know, they said something about something about puppet sex. And I'm like, puppet sex? Well, let's Google that.
Oh, you didn't.
Jason has a puppet. Is the puppet closed, Jason?
He's not. I don't know where Turk is. Yeah.
Oh, no.
So, Mallory, I have a question for you, because obviously your mom at some point was like, hey, you and Lamb-Chop are going to be partners. How did you fall into the family business?
I was my mom's head writer and producing partner for the last decade of her life. I co-wrote a number of her books, and we've always worked together as a family. But
how great is that you get to do that with your mom, by the way? How great is that?
Friggin' brilliant. But for the last 10 years, we were working together every day professionally. And then when she died, I was pregnant. So I didn't, but I kept getting these letters that people saying, is Lamb-Chop dead too?
And I wasn't dead.
No, you're not dead.
Lamb-Chop, you're immortal.
I am immortal, gosh darn it.
You might be a Highlander, actually, and you might have to go to the quickening and get a sword and start fighting. I'm not sure how it works.
There is an aura to her of Highlander, yes.
Oh, definitely. That's what I think of.
It is odd, Mallory. I talk to you, but in the back of my head, I'm very wary of my language because Lamb-Chop's there, and I'm not doing it jokingly. There is something. There's an aura.
I am Jamie.
Yes, yes, Lamb-Chop.
I'm real. I'm definitely real. There's something about me that's more than her, more than Shari, more than my mink eyelashes. I'm like the Velveteen Rabbit.
Very much so. I would agree with that. Very much so. Yeah, iconic figure. Yeah.
How long was it after your mom passed before you, like, what was that process like before?
I spent the first year being pregnant and traveling around. Well, not the whole year, obviously. It only took 9 months.
Did she meet Jamie?
No, I was 8 weeks pregnant when she died. Yeah. But I spent the first year traveling around accepting posthumous awards for Mom. And finally, my ex-husband quite recently pointed out that we couldn't make a living with me doing that. And he said, if you want to do this, you got to do this. Otherwise, you got to go back to producing because, darn it, I can't find the camera on this. So I put Lamb-Chop in a podium at an event I was at and didn't tell anybody.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I love my eyelashes too. I use Latisse.
Hey, really quick, before you say this, anyone out there, if you guys have questions for Lamb-Chop, please write them
or
in.
Mallory.
No, nothing for Mallory. No.
I know who the listener is. Don't worry about it.
Please ask some questions because I love this. It's so much fun. But I just
want
to put them
I put Lamb-Chop in the podium. Why is your ear weird? I don't know. Okay. I put Lamb-Chop in the podium and I went up to accept Mom's posthumous award. And I pulled Lamb-Chop out and she said,
thank you for this. Shari would be so proud.
And everybody clapped. And I went, oh, I like that sound. And so then I just, I started building an act and touring. And
here's as a professional comic who toured for many years, I love how you just threw away, I built an act. I don't think people understand how hard that is. Especially with what you're writing, what you're doing.
Then you go to 5, then you go to 7. Yep. Then I never had any trouble doing Lamb-Chop, or I had to learn things like, find the opening to the curtain before they call your name. Make sure your mic is on. And if there's a cell phone ringing, don't give the audience dirty looks. Make sure it's not in your pocket. But I never had any... But I had to learn the material and write the material. And people will often say to me, oh my gosh, your material is so much more contemporary than your mom's. And I'm like, she's been dead 25 years. I wrote for her then. I write for her now. I mean, it would have been the same. But it's through your eyes and your voice now. So it does have a more contemporary because I can already, I was my mom's head writer. So
but you wrote for her, and now maybe you're writing more in your own tone.
I definitely am a little bolder because there we go. It's good that I figured that out 5 minutes before we're done. I definitely am a little bolder, but it's a bolder time.
I agree.
It's a bolder time. So if any of your fans want to follow me on TikTok, I'm at your fave FAV Lamb-Chop. And that's my favorite medium. I feel like Twitter is for angry people. Facebook is for old people. Instagram is for young and beautiful people. And TikTok is for people who are funny.
Nobody's ever put that better. That is absolutely the best description of all the social medias. Listen, I don't want to hold you up. We had so much. Will you please come back again?
Yes, I would love to. Jamie, do you live here or do you live near Jason?
I'm in LA. Yeah, I'm in Studio City.
Awesome. Okay, Jason, will you hook us
Absolutely.
up? Because I would love to see your happy face in person.
You are the bomb. Honestly, Mallory. It was, and Lamb-Chop especially.
He's just a little tiny explosion, but on the top.
So Mallory, this is what's great about this show for us. It's Parental Mental Health Tuesday. And so every week we're kind of like, I can't believe I have to do the show. I go to do the show. We kind of get it. I'm like, I'm screaming with my kids. I go to do the show.
Sober until 7 o'clock.
I know. I get that.
Oh, you really didn't.
Well,
but then once I do the show and I meet such wonderful guests, especially tonight. It was so heartwarming. And I know for Jason's been all week, he's been talking about like Lamb-Chop's coming to Mallory.
That Lamb-Chop's player long quite literally saved my life. Like
Okay,
it literally was.
Wait, let's sing it out.
Okay.
This is the song that doesn't end. Yes, it goes on and on, my friend. Some people
started singing it, not knowing what it was, and they'll continue singing it forever just because the song that doesn't end. This is the greatest day.
We're ending on that song. Listen, everybody go watch Mallory on TikTok. We'll link everybody.
Mallory, plug the book real quick.
We love you guys. Thank you.
A new book about mom that just came out called Sherry Lewis and Lamb-Chop, the team that changed children's television. And it's really good. It's on Amazon.
Absolutely did. She was such a pioneer. It's awesome. We'll see you soon. You got to come back when the doc comes out.
Oh, can I come back before?
Yeah, yes. You can come back anytime.
Honestly, you're coming back every week. You're our new co-host. I love you so much. Mallory and Lamb-Chop, thank you so much. We'll see you guys.
Bye, Daddy.
All right. That was amazing. That was super amazing. Everybody who's watching, that was crazy. That was so
7-year-old me is so excited right now.
Lamb-Chop went ballistic.
Look, I always knew that was what was going to happen. I just didn't know how do I say to you, oh yeah, she's going to go off the rails. I knew from the beginning that was going to happen.
Epic. I love Mallory Lewis and Lamb-Chop. That's my new favorite. Hey, that's it. I got to go make sure my kids finish their IXLs and go to bed. We have crazy stuff this week. Huge thanks to everyone. We had a huge turnout tonight. A lot of people and the comments, Jobo and the gang. Oh my gosh, you guys made me laugh so hard tonight. That was awesome. That was so much fun. All right. Hey, if you guys are doing this on YouTube, be sure to follow us, like us. On iTunes, especially on iTunes. Make sure you follow, subscribe, write a review if you can. And also, a lot of people are starting to share the show out to their feed, which is always wonderful. So thank you guys for doing that. If you're listening to this, be sure to come see us live every Tuesday night. It's virtual. It's simple. Just pop your computer open. You can find us pretty much anywhere. The Parents Lounge, Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. And then we kind of randomly pop on with crazy guests. Meredith.
Yeah, we were last Thursday. We had Paul Soder from Super Troopers and the new movie Quasi we did. So, I mean, we've got a lot of great guests coming up. Soon is coming Andrea Barber, Kimmy Gibbler from Full House is coming. Jarrett Reddick and Gary Wiseman from Bowling for Soup and the Rockstar Dad Show are coming. So we've got a lot of great guests coming our way.
So we're in this together. Parental Mental Health Tuesday. And listen, why do you care what other people do? Just go deal with your own life and have fun.
Do your own thing.
It's a short time. You better enjoy it, people. Love you all. We'll see you next week here on the Parents Lounge.
Good night, everybody.